I've said it before, I have to say it again. Another banner episode of AEW Dynamite. This may be the episode of all time. There's a lot to talk about. Before we go any further and review the matches, independent of the quality of the show itself, let's talk about the audio. Tony Khan put out a tweet saying it was an issue on TBS's side, their partner at TBS. Threw them under the bus, but it was very nice, the way he phrased it. What did you think about the audio, and how unwatchable is that show if the entire audio track is f***ed up?
Well, here's the thing. There were so many different types of audio problems or communication problems between, whether it be, again, it could be several things. Could have been bad communication between the truck and the announce team, or could have been bad communication between the broadcast of the network and the truck. But there were so many different types of audio problems. I know a few of them cannot be blamed on TBS because I knew what they were. Apparently, you can't, when at the opening of the program, and this is a good place to put this because I was going to mention it also, when you've got the WWE on this fucking roll, this steamroll that they're on with these big buildings and these sellouts and the big crowds and the big stars, the big shows, whatever the fuck. Even when Tony is in one of these NBA arenas, and we'll probably talk on the experience this week, one of the listeners out there who's a data scientist of some kind sent me an analysis that we don't have time for today, but it's fascinating. But even when they're in an NBA arena, but the average building that they're running is 75% empty, they're at least coming from a place that's heard of in a venue that people would think is somewhat professional. And even if the average person doesn't look for the crowd shots, right? The average person is not waiting for the wide shot to see how they have to disguise they haven't got any people in the building. We do that because we're industry professionals. But they opened this program coming from Daly's place in Jacksonville. It looked like a Nickelodeon game show set. This is the worst time.
It looked better with no fans. They shot it better with no fans.
Yeah, well, but they almost did it again here. It just, they can't shoot it with some fans. But everybody made a big deal out of they were advertising for seat fillers or whatever, and then they said, well, we're giving away free tickets to people in the military or the first defenders or first responders, whatever they said, but they advertised locally. We need 50 people to come and be seat fillers, whatever you're affiliated with. But so anyway, it looks like the game show set. It's just so small. Why did they have to be there? Did another building fall through? Because they own that, right? Or that was their home?
No, they own it. It's next to the football stadium. But I guess the other question is, why do they have to shoot it so that the stage is behind the camera or in front of the camera?
Do we know how many people were there, though? Because they didn't ever really turn anything around. So were there any people there? Where are the people, Jerry?
I want to say it was in the neighborhood of 2,500 people. Let me double check.
God damn, did you see 2,500? They could have shown 1,850 more people.
Well, that's the thing. I didn't see that many people, and that's weird that they don't shoot the crowd at all there if there's all these people behind on the other side of the camera.
Dipshit, the plumber had to go out in the crowd and fight, but they kept it real tight. But anyway, it looked like, what the fuck? But the cold open of the thing, or the first video you see, to address what you were talking about before I went off on a tangent. Here come the SUVs. It's not Roman Reigns, folks. It's the Buckaroos and Cody and Jungle Jackoff. And that was the first example of an audio problem because I'm pretty sure they pre-taped this. But whether they were doing it live or whether they pre-taped it, the audio that you were hearing was the audio that was being played to the crowd when they were looking at it on the screen so it was from the arena. It sounded hollow. You could hear the fans murmuring, right? But when they're actually talking, you can't hear. They're not feeding the program audio. So either the truck wasn't getting it, the truck wasn't sending it. I don't know how that TBS could have made the mistake to separate on their end to separate the goddamn program audio with the microphone on the camera that shot this thing, and we're just hearing the PA playing on the screen in the arena. That's what how does TBS do that? So, but there was another time in one of the matches where the announcers were speaking and suddenly, bam, they were in picture in the middle of Tony Schiavone's sentence. Now that could have been.
That was hysterical too, because that was right when, the audio may be getting a little bit better, and then boom.
Yeah, boom. And then it cut out completely. But that could have been the truck not being able to talk to the announcers suddenly for some reason, or that could have been master control at the network not communicating to the truck to tell the announcers, but it's not supposed to be done that. There's multiple checkpoints that you would have to go through that would have to fail for all of those things and then there was another point, and I was fast forwarding through some of this fucking in the middle because god damn, you'll hear about it, but they showed a picture on Twitter and people were talking about it. They went to picture in picture in a commercial break and forgot to put the picture in the picture. So they had the commercial playing in the big part, and in the little part, it just said live. And again, if they're using, unless somebody at Master Control at TBS just, has walked in there from a homeless shelter and it's his first day on a job.
Who's on the board tonight? Oh, it's Crazy Jerry. Oh,
yeah.
no.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We need to promote him and get him out of here. But no, it had to be. They're in Daly's place. It's not an NBA arena. Did they bring the full setup? Did they bring the normal crew, technical crew? Did they pick up some freelancers? I don't know what to put, but I'm trying to think of some of because I made notes of them throughout the show, but there was a number of, there was the one where after all the other girls engaged in all of the other girl things that they did, Serena comes out, sits down. Oh my God, it's Serena. And she sits down on the stage and she talks directly into the handheld fucking camera to cut this meaningful statement about why she's back, and they're still playing one of the other girls' music so loud you can't hear a goddamn thing she says unless you're a lip reader. You don't know what the fuck and then the announcers are trying to tell you what she said. And then
you can't hear them either, so it doesn't help.
Well, yeah, but the one plus was most of the time you couldn't really hear Sockface at all. And then there was another time that, especially when the people quieted down, that the announcers were goddamn thunderous. And then it was a tremendous moment for Plumber Moxley at the end, because he also tried to cut a promo into the handheld camera, but the only thing, fortunately, that anybody could hear was, "You're a fucking dead man. We just don't know who's dead."
Can I do my impression of Moxley's promo earlier in the show?
I wish you would.
Dope. Couldn't hear anything. Heard the fans.
Well, I may have heard it better than you, because it almost sounded to me like every other Moxley promo. It didn't make any fucking sense, but there was some words in there. But that's the thing, is this. And I mean, we're going to get into more of the visual aspect of this was the worst possible show for them to present at the worst possible time when we talk about, because the first thing you saw live in the arena, besides the fact that the arena is a goddamn, I mean, the fucking Batman Amphitheater at Six Flags Kentucky Kingdom that we used to run OVW shows in look better than this. But the first thing you saw was fucking pockets being thrown out of the entranceway by Trent. So you've got an amateur location or a minor league location with an amateur television production, and you can't hear the first thing they present, and the first talent that you see on the other program, you might see Roman Reigns coming out, or you might see goddamn Cody coming out, or you might see fucking Punk or McIntyre or Logan Paul or goddamn who knows what fucking The Rock. Did I mention him before? This is Trent and Pockets. And they've just crowned a new world champion, and we see two indie guys that got a lucky fucking friend hire rolling around in a goddamn amusement park arena. It's just the dichotomy, the paradox, and a paradox is not a place you park two boats. It's amazing. Your thoughts?
My thoughts on the opening of the show up to this point?
On the amateurishness overall, and could they have picked a worse time to present such amateurishness?
There it is. Now, I know not every pay-per-view is WrestleMania, but this was the first Dynamite after a big pay-per-view. One where AEW fans seemed very happy with it. New world champion, they loved the Ospreay match. There were things they really loved. Jack Perry's return. For some people, that was a big deal. They followed it up with a show opening with the Bucks, who are ratings poison. Can't even hear them. Right away, it becomes apparent the audio's fucked. And then they go into the building. Orange Cassidy, if it was him on his own, it would be one thing. Because his opponent could have credibility. It was him in the middle of the best friends falling apart. Like anyone gave a shit. And by the way, it turned out they weren't even best friends. The guy said he didn't even like him or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I always thought you were a piece of shit.
What?
A fucking fake friend and a backstabber.
You could have said this 4 years ago, Chuck.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, this was an amateurish way to open. And then, I mean, we'll get to the review, but the world champion was put in a long competitive match against a guy who never wins. But let's go to the actual review. I apologize for going forward.
What, you apologize for everything from here on out going forward is going to be rotten, or you apologize for going too far ahead of the topic?
That, and also for the fact that you had to watch this show. I'm so sorry. Accept my apologies.
But we take it upon ourselves. We're like those old religious pilgrimage motherfuckers charging up a goddamn hill, whacking each other with chains and shit. We suffer so you don't have to.
Like all those religious pilgrimage people.
Yeah, whatever. I just have the visual in my head of they're beating themselves over the back with the chains while they're walking up a hill to jump off a cliff. I don't know where they're fucking going.
Why do you have this vision in your head?
Because we're punishing ourselves, but they're doing it for some greater purpose, for a higher power. Potentially not Adam Cole.